Queen Elizabeth II is the Queen of England and is the United Kingdom's longest-serving monarch. The Queen has reigned for almost 70 years. She was born in 1926 and was crowned Queen of England on June 2, 1952 at only 27 years old. The Queen spends her days answering letters, has meetings with her staff, gives out knighthoods, and takes her dogs out for a walk. The Queen has a staggering net worth of £350 million, or roughly $480 million, along with some of the most beautiful palaces in the UK. The Queen is the only person in the UK that is allowed to drive without a driving license and still drives to this day. Queen Elizabeth became a homeowner at the age of 6 when she was gifted a house on the grounds of Windsor Royal Lodge. The Queen's appetite for luxury homes and palaces didn't end there, as she owns multiple magnificent palaces. Today we will be looking at some of the palaces owned by the Queen of England. Stay tuned as we dive in and look into some of the most opulent and enormous palaces to ever be made. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from us. Buckingham Palace. First, let's begin with the most iconic and well-known palace in England, Buckingham Palace. It is not only a major tourist attraction but home to the Queen of England and the residence for many of the royal staff. Tourists can actually tour a number of the staterooms inside the palace during certain periods of the year. This astonishing palace was built in 1703 and was constructed as a large townhouse for the Duke of Buckingham. King George III bought the property in 1761 as a private residence for Queen Charlotte. The palace is located in the city of Westminster and belongs to the ruling monarch at the time. Today, the building is 833,000 square feet, which is about 19 acres, which is about 9 football fields. It has 775 rooms, including 52 guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, and 78 bathrooms. Imagine how many friends you could bring over with that many rooms in your house. Queen Victoria became the first official royal to make Buckingham Palace her home. Buckingham Palace is a beautiful palace, and all beautiful palaces need an opulent and jaw-dropping garden. The royal garden is enormous, sitting at about 42 acres of land. The Queen can also go for a long stroll by the lake, as it is 3 acres. The royal garden has a rose garden with 25 different varieties of roses. The palace has a royal museum with some of the royal collections on display. Along with the museum, the palace is decorated with royal treasures to give the rooms an even more grand appearance. Windsor Castle. Windsor Castle is the oldest castle in England and has been the family home for the royal family since 1070. It is an official residence for Her Majesty and is home to about 150 people. The castle has 1,000 rooms and occupies 13 acres in the city of Berkshire. The Queen moved here during the Second World War for safety concerns and now frequently visits the palace on weekends, as it's not too far from Buckingham Palace. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle got married here in 2018, along with several other royals that chose to host their wedding in this spectacular castle. Windsor Castle was built as a fortress and has proven to be a very strong one. During the Barons' War in the 1200s, Windsor Castle withstood a 2-month siege. The castle also survived a huge fire in 1992 and amazingly lost only 2 works of art, a large painting and a rosewood sideboard. If you want to take a look at secret letters of King George III or read Queen Victoria's journal, head to Windsor Castle, as they're all hidden away in the Royal Library. The Royal Library contains more than 200,000 items, including book collections of multiple monarchs. Would you go visit the Royal Library? Let me know in the comments below. Holyrood Palace. Holyrood Palace is Queen Elizabeth's residence in Edinburgh, Scotland. This magnificent palace was first built in 1128 by David I of Scotland, and then later renovated into a palace by James IV in the 16th century. The Queen usually hosts garden parties in the summer for up to 8,000 guests. The garden's about 8 acres, which can accommodate for all the Queen's guests. The garden is composed of woodland beds, formal bedding, long rockery-inspired borders, and a substantial range of heated glasshouses. The palace covers 10 acres and has 289 rooms. The palace has 387 windows, which means you'll have no problem looking for a window to gaze outside. However, you may have trouble trying to find a clock because there are only 51 clocks in the whole palace. 106 members of staff work in the palace, but no one lives here except when the Queen is present. Mary, Queen of Scots, lived in the tower which James V built in 1528. The tower is the oldest part of the palace. The Queen's formal sitting room and drawing room is paneled with oak wood. Balmoral Castle. Balmoral Castle is another palace owned by Queen Elizabeth. She spends many weeks at this palace in the summer when she's up in Scotland. The palace is 76 miles from Edinburgh and is privately owned by Her Majesty. The Queen is known to explore the house on horseback or her Range Rover. Prince Philip likes to spend his time manning the grill. The Queen usually relaxes and takes time off royal duties when they make the trip. Prince Albert bought the castle in 1852 for his wife, Queen Victoria. Renovations finished in 1856 and was built in the Scottish baronial style. Balmoral Estate has been added to by members of the royal family. It now covers an area of approximately 50,000 acres. Just for context, a football field is 2 acres, yes, only 2. The 50,000 acres contains moors, forests, and farmland. 50,000 acres is about 78 square miles, which will take over an hour if you travel 60 miles per hour. Imagine it taking over 1 hour just to leave your house. Balmoral Castle has 52 bedrooms, which is not as many bedrooms as the other palaces, but makes up its lack of bedrooms in farmland, moors, and forests. What would you do with all that land? Do you think it's too much and sell it, or keep building on the land and expand it? Let me know in the comments down below. Sandringham Castle. Finally on our list we have the Sandringham Castle. Sandringham Castle is another beautiful, privately owned castle by the Queen of England. This stunning castle is located in Norfolk, England, which is about 100 miles away from London. The castle covers an enormous 20,000 acres of land, which make up the Woodland and Heath National Park, which is free and open to the public every day of the year. The castle was acquired by the royal family in 1862 as a country home for Edward VII, and then later the Prince of Wales and his wife Princess Alexandra of Denmark. Queen Elizabeth's father George VI and grandfather George V both died here. Following their deaths, the castle was passed down to the Queen, who frequents the castle and is where the royals spend their Christmas. The Queen also gave her first royal Christmas broadcast via radio at this castle in 1957. More than 200 people work at the estate, including gardeners, farmers, as well as workers for the apple juice pressing plant and sawmill in Sandringham. There were plans to demolish the castle and refurbish it to a more modern building, but nothing has been acted on, and Sandringham Castle remains the same. Sandringham Castle was used for royal shooting parties as King Edward VII was very fond of hunting. The Queen has opened Sandringham Castle to the public, and you can explore the 600 acres of garden it sits upon. You can also learn more about royal life and the history of Sandringham Castle at the Estate Museum. It is estimated that Sandringham Castle is worth £48.5 million or $67 million. Do you think the palace is worth the hefty price tag? If you have the money, would you buy this palace or buy a different one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. These are some of the most luxurious palaces owned by the Queen of England. Which palace did you like best? Would you live in a gigantic palace? Or would you rather live in a normal-size home? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on those post notifications so you never miss a video from us. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.